Hey, did you save any good anecdotes for those of us that might want to write about you in the future, or did you give them all the counter report?
There's always great stories to be told. Always great stories.
The doctor thing was pretty interesting, though.
Thank you.
I didn't know that. Maybe I missed it, but I had no idea.
Yeah, no, that was, earlier, it's funny looking back at, just kind of growing up in the coaching world, being in Kansas City. I really didn't want to be a coach. And I was very much into wanting to become a doctor. And that was what I set out to do at Davis. And then, I think anybody, once you start going through college and playing football and going to all those classes, which when you're studying nuclear fusion and biochemistry and organic chemistry, you really start on learning about yourself a lot. It was very, there was some fun aspects of it, but being able to be out on the field. I always say if you could do arthroscopic surgery in a crowd of 80,000 people and they were rooting you on, I probably would have stuck with it a little longer.
That's why we're all here, because we didn't want to do a real job either.
Hey, Nathaniel, with Dafney, what kind of find has he been? With how unique that F position can be, to be able to kind of stumble upon him in the middle of last year and have him play the way he's played when you've needed him. What have you thought about what he's given you guys offensively?
He's been really good. It's one of those things when guys come in, you don't get to have a ton of time with them. And I think when he got here, I think he jumped right into the playbook. I think that was one of the things that we saw early. Is his intelligence and ability to pick up the system was awesome. So it allowed us to kind of see him a little bit more. We watched him on scout team, and then when we did throw him in there, he knew what to do. And I think that's a huge part of it, especially when you come mid-season. And then watching him out there, it's not too big for him, and he's aggressive and he understands what to do and understands angles and has some good ability. So even you look back at that Chicago game, that touchdown he caught. Who would have thought when we started the season? So it's been a great surprise.
How hard is it to get Randall involved? Because A, he's Randall, but B, you got Amari, C, you got Lazard, and then D, Devontae has done so many good things in the slot. You got so many options for that spot, and obviously you don't use a slot receiver in some plays anyways.
I call that a great positive problem. That is definitely a positive problem. Definitely we want him out there. We want all of them out there. I wish we could have so many more plays a lot of the time. That would have been fun. We would, but I look at it as we just want to try to get everybody out there as much as we can, and we just want to get a ton of plays. That's the key. I think last game we might have only had one drive, I think, in the first quarter, two in the second, I think, and then all of a sudden it goes there. So I think the more plays we can have, the more we can get everybody involved.
Nathaniel, so they're basically a cover 3 team like the Seattle defenses, right?
Yes.
So that means they're going to come out and cover 2 against you, right? Seriously,
it's funny how when you look at everybody, and Aaron always laughs about it because I'm a little bit of a numbers nerd guy, so you're looking at everything, trying to find tendencies and everything, and Aaron just laughs at me all the time. Oh, we're going to listen to the numbers again, and I think in the end it's about the system. It's about Aaron understanding the progressions, where to go, and he's seen so much. That's what it's such a great benefit to have a guy like that back there. So that kind of stuff doesn't stump him. He just kind of expects it because it's happened to him so much in his career. You see a team that's a cover 1 team and they play cover 2, a cover 2 team, and they all out pressure you every down. There's so many different things, and everybody has a different plan that they want to try. So I think going into this 3rd year, we just kind of talk about what we see, talk about who they are, and then be ready for anything and everything versus this guy.
Is it fair to think that, it's a trend in the NFL that whoever's offense is really good, people study it during the off season and try to figure out how to stop it?
That is definitely a trend. Yeah, that's definitely a trend. But I think it goes for everybody. As coaches, we always want to grow. We always want to get better. And I think anybody that has success, you want to watch and see what they're doing. See if there's something unique, something that fits in what you're doing. And then, from an opposing standpoint is what's the best defense? Okay, if we're going to see that, or if people, a lot of the time that spreads because people, gain jobs at other places. So that's going to be more available throughout the whole league. So you have to be ready for that stuff. So I think that's just what growing in the NFL as a coach. You're always trying to get better and see what people are doing new.
Nathaniel, what's the challenge if you don't have Elton? You guys have been great about shuffling guys around, but to have a 5-time All-Pro left tackle not available and then a guy that doesn't skip a beat, where does that leave you?
That's the fun part about football. You know, it gives somebody an opportunity to step in if they have to. I mean, obviously, we'll see day to day what goes on with that. And during practice, other guys get more reps than they usually do, and they get to get out there and get comfortable. And, you know, so much credit to Steno and to Coach Buckus. You know, again, I mean, they do such a great job, even when everybody's available, is shuffling those guys around. Because we know, everybody in here knows the NFL, I mean, things can happen, and you have to be ready for anything. So, so I think, you know, hey, there's always challenges, and we got to be ready for it.
I made the mistake of asking the quarterback about a throw to Tanyan, not the touchdown throw.
Tons of fun, yep.
Yeah, not the touchdown throw, but the pass interference one. And I mistakenly thought maybe he threw it where he did to help draw the pass interference. Apparently his throw just sucked. You know, all these guys are accurate, right, to varying degrees. Is he different than most? You've been around a lot of quarterbacks. Is it rare when he was saying he thought maybe there were 3 or 4 balls that he didn't put where he wanted, or within the frame of where he wanted them, the throws to MVS and then that one.
Aaron's out of this world when it comes to throwing a football. I mean, where he can put it, I mean, from no looks to off his back foot to setting up to running. I mean, it's unbelievable. I mean, I know you don't want to say the touchdown one, but the touchdown one is incredible. I mean, I think it probably grazed the linebacker's helmet just slightly, and he was still able to get it in there. So it's something that Aaron is just amazing about. But he also has that background of the West Coast, and you go back to Bill Walsh in the olden days when if you didn't hit the guy perfect in stride, I mean, that was not good enough. And I think that that's the standard that he's held himself to, and that's what he was trained in before we got here. So that's just kind of who he is and what he wants. So, I mean, he's harder on himself than anybody. So any throw he misses, I mean, he knows he can make it, and he can. And so he's going to, you know, always expect to make it.
Going back to Wes's question about Dafney, sorry, I feel like I'm the one asking questions. So.
I like it.
And I don't mean this as a slight toward Jace in any way, but here's a guy who's a 3rd-round pick, and you kept the guy who just was working as a bouncer like a year ago. What does that say about what Dafney has done in terms of earning his keep around here for that to happen?
Yeah, I think, again, it kind of goes back to when he first got here, you know, how he threw himself into the system. He watched as many videos as he could with all our interactive learning program that we created. And it made him be able to not skip a beat when he had that opportunity. Because, I mean, that's what football's all about. Football's about, you know, you never know when that opportunity is going to happen. And it goes across everybody in the organization. It's once you get that chance, what are you going to make of that chance? And a guy like Dafney has really made a lot of it. And it's been great to see.
They have a lot of uncertainty at cornerback. Does that challenge your preparation at all, or is it basically just you're looking at the scheme and that's it?
This kind of a system definitely has a foundation of who they are and what they do, and they have, it's very good. It's very disciplined. They're very good in covering all kind of different route combinations. They know what hurts them and how to defend it, and they know their different complementary coverages. So I think that's always going to be a staple of what they do. I think how much they want to do certain things might be determined by who's out there. But again, we have to be prepared for anything, especially if those guys are able to pick it up quick. They can get to their whole package.
Nathaniel, did the Lions react kind of the way you thought they would when you brought Jones and Dillon in the game together? Did you kind of get what you wanted out of it, or were you just kind of curious to see how they would approach it?
A lot of the time when we put those unique personnels out there, we're crossing our fingers. We're hoping we're going to see something or that they're going to treat it. You never truly do know, especially when it's something that we haven't shown a lot. And everybody's going to treat it a little bit different. So I think at that time, in some of those situations, we definitely got some things that we thought, and there were a couple things that we didn't think we were going to get. And then the guys were great because they were able to understand that it wasn't the look that we had prepared for, and they were able to make the adjustments within the system, which was great. One of the touchdown and another one. And so I think that's a credit to the guys. And we kind of talked to them about that. Hey, this is what we're expecting, but in the end, we have to trust our rules and know how to make the play happen.